So for number 2, we had to get x by itself, get rid of everything else. We cannot get rid of this 8 until we get rid of the negative 4, so we would have to multiply both sides by negative 4. Because of our properties of equality. The negative 4s would cancel, leaving just x plus 8 equals negative 20, and then we could subtract it. And if I were to put that back in, negative 28 plus 8 is negative 20. Negative 20 over negative 4 is positive 5, so it works. Questions on number 2? Yes.
So you don't switch the negative 4 to a positive, you multiply on both sides?
No. So even when you multiply by the reciprocal, if it was already negative, you keep it negative. Number 3 had a bunch of fractions, so I'm going to distribute the 7/8 to everything here, the 3/5 to everything here, but I'm multiplying across, so 7 is being multiplied to 4 and 16, 8 is being multiplied to 5 and 1, same thing here. I'm going to write it out as is, and then we'll start to simplify it. If you started to simplify first, that's fine. So here we have 28 over 40, x plus, I think that's 112. Plus 3 times x minus 30 over 5. Let's do that. And then we can start to simplify. So this one would give us 7/10. This one would give us 14. 3/10 is already simplified. And this would give us -6. So if you went from here to here, that's okay. You didn't need that in between step. I'm just showing you all the fractions. Then we need to combine our like terms. Because these are fractions, we need to add the numerators together. We can also simplify this, and when we add these together, we get, or subtract, we get 8. So our final answer would be x plus 8. All the fractions go away just to get x plus 8. Questions on that one? So let's go on to number 5 on the back. This one is like what we were talking about last class and the class before that. Just last class. Distribute on both sides. Negative 5x plus 15. Bring down everything else. Minus 2x equals 46. Minus 4x minus 4. Combine like terms on the same side, so we can combine the negative 5x and the negative 2x and the 46 and the negative 4. Then you had choices of what you wanted to move, so someone tell me what they moved first.
The variables.
Which one?
-7 and -4.
So we'll do one of those at a time. So let's say we added 7x. And then since we move that to the right, we have to get rid of the constants, move those to the left. I think this was -27. And then divide both sides by 2. So your answer should have been x equals -9 or -9 equals x. Does not matter how you write that. have any questions on that one? Make sure you are holding onto your answer sheet. As you saw, we just did number 3. In the next few weeks, we'll be doing 4 and 5, which means you'll be turning in that answer sheet, and I'll be checking it for an informative grade. Get out your notes from last class. Okay, so we're going to talk about some more word problems that deal with variables on both sides. For this, number 1, we have to find the value of x so that the rectangles have the same area. So we need a little bit of background information. How do we find the area of a rectangle? Multiply what specifically? Someone said something, but I didn't get so. Okay, or length times width. So we need to know that we're multiplying the sides together to get the area. We also need to set this up somehow. We know we're going to be multiplying this side and multiplying these two sides. If they have the same area, what operation or symbol could I write to say that this is the same as this? So we can multiply these two. 12x equals 16 times x minus 2. So we have our area on both sides, we set them equal to each other, now we have our equation, now we can solve just like normal. So distribute. What would be our next step? What do we get? So we could do that, and we'll show you what happens. If you subtract 12x, this cancels, it becomes 0. Now you have all the variables on the same side, yes, but we still have to move something back. So you've created an extra step. You can do this. You just create an extra step. Because then now we could divide. What you could have done instead is instead of moving 12x, we could have moved 16x over and then just divided from there. But again, that choice is up to you. So we found what x equals, but that doesn't help us answer the question of the area. So if we put 8 back in for all of our x's, and we multiply the area, what would that area become?
Thanks.
8 times 12 is 96, and 16 times 6 is also 96. If we had like inches or centimeters or whatever units, we would put that, but we don't, so we don't have to worry about that. Right. Questions on this one? Let's read this next one. Chris has saved twice the number of quarters that Nora saved plus 6. The number of quarters Chris saved is also 5 times the difference of the number of quarters Nora saved and 3. Write and solve an equation to find the number of quarters they each saved. What is important here?
Twice the number.
Twice the number of quarters plus 6. That whole thing. Actually, 5 times the difference of the number of quarters and 3. Anything else? The last sentence. We have to write and solve the equation. We have to find the number of quarters they each saved. I'm also going to highlight the words is also, because that's going to tell us how we're going to set this up. Alright, so we need a variable first. Because this is talking about Chris has saved about Nora's amount, we're going to make a variable for Nora's amount, and eventually it will solve for Chris's. So I'm going to call that n. You can call it whatever you would like. And that would be number of quarters Nora saved. Remember that we have to be specific. You could have just put number of quarters, that's also fine. Because there are two different people, you may want to specify a little bit more that Nora saved specifically. You couldn't just put quarters, because what do we not know about the quarters? That's what you should be defining. Right. And then how would we write twice the number of quarters that Nora saved plus 6? Two times, in my case, n plus 6. Is also, how would we write that? To show that this works, but also this works. It's the same as what symbol would we use there? And then 5 times the difference of the number of quarters Nora saved and 3. How would we write that part? What do we think? 5 times the difference of the number of quarters Nora saved and 3. Say that last part one more time. So, not divided by differences, what operation are subtraction? But also, since 5 is being multiplied to the difference, we need parentheses. So we have our equation now we can solve. So we can distribute on the right. Then we have choices. What do we want to move first? We're moving to 2n, we're subtracting to the other side, and then we have to move our constants back to the left by adding. And then divide both sides by 3. So we know Nora has 7 quarters saved. We still need to find how many quarters Chris saved. So you can do one of two things. Either put 7 into this side and figure out what that is, or put 7 into this side. So I'm going to do this. These 5 tables, I want you to put 7 into this side. These 4 tables, I want you to put 7 into this side. And then figure out how many quarters Chris saved. How many quarters did we get?
20.
On both sides, you should have gotten 20. So I'm going to write that down, and then I'm going to show both steps. You don't need to write both sides down if you did one, but you can if you so choose. So on either side, you should have gotten 20. Yes, I can do this. Do we have any questions on that problem? The last one I want you to try. So you can compare your equation and answer to the people around you, but I want you to try this last one. I'll give you some time to work through that. Okay, so your equation should have looked like this. 2/3 of a number reduced by 11 is equal to 4 more than the number. You could have used a different variable. And then you had choices. What did someone do first? I know some of you got the correct answer. What did you do first? At the same time, you could also subtract. Or if you did that in 2 separate steps, that's fine. And then here, you have choices again. You can either, well, really the reciprocal is multiplying by this. So you could multiply both sides by 3, or you could divide by the 1/3, but you can't mix those up. You can't divide by the reciprocal or multiply by the 1/3. So that your variable should be -45. Do we have any questions on that one before I explain what we're doing next? Okay. So you're going to do 2 things. The first one is your choice. The second one is whichever one you didn't choose first. There are 3 pieces of paper, but ignore the third one for now. One is a maze for solving multi-step equations. You're going to work through that, start at the beginning, work through that, do that, raise your hand when you finish it, I'll check it. The other is word problems, that is 10 problems front and back. So whichever you choose first is fine. Do that one, raise your hand, I'll check it, and then you have to do the other one. So you're doing both regardless. Which one you choose is up to you. You can use each other, you can use your notes, your calculator, you can use Desmos, so you do have to show your work. So, if you have any questions on what we're doing for the rest of the class. Okay. Come choose your first one.